Welcome to the Offshore Europe Customer Seminar with ExxonMobil and Caterpillar. You join us at the Offshore Europe exhibition in Aberdeen, where we're joined by some leading experts in the field and by an invited audience. Today we're discussing how advanced technology can help companies with their safety, environmental care and performance of their operations. And I'm joined by two experts in the field, as I say. Please welcome Peter Longstaff from ExxonMobil Fuels and Lubricants and Will Watson from Caterpillar's Marine and Petroleum Division. So we're going to be finding out today how advanced technologies can help oil and gas companies improve safety, environmental care and performance of their operations. In a few minutes our audience are going to be asking some questions, but first of all let's set the scene, and our two guest speakers will be explaining some of the issues and how they're tackling them. But before Peter speaks, let's have a look at this short film.
Discovering, inventing, advancing technology. It's what we do, what we have always done. Pioneering lubricants that empower historic achievement. Pushing beyond the conventional. Staying focused on standards of excellence. Choosing to be the first. So our customers are the first to benefit. Assuming there are no limits to technology leadership. No boundaries to solving problems. Ever curious and committed to research, because it fosters product improvement, expands the knowledge and technical support we can provide our customers, and offers breakthroughs. That make a difference to us all. ExxonMobil Lubricants and Specialties, a proud heritage of technology leadership.
Ladies and gentlemen, from ExxonMobil Fuels and Lubricants, Peter Longstaff.
Hello there, thank you for that kind introduction. I hope you enjoyed the film there. I think it's always good to start with a short video rather than somebody going straight into a presentation. My name's Pete Longstaff. I started working with Mobil in 1988, and so I'm celebrating 25 years this year. And I started at the refinery at Corriton as product development chemist, and I did about 10 years, and I had the chance to leave lubricants for 10 years, and I only came back to lubricants about 5-6 years ago. And one of the things that really struck me was how things had changed. A lot of people perceive lubricants to be a very sort of stagnant, you know, they look the same, you know, they feel the same type of thing. But what really struck me was how lubricants and lubricant technology within Mobil had changed, and really also the knowledge and what we call the application expertise had really developed within Mobil and within the industry. So today, that's really what I'd like to try and touch on. The video gave a little bit of a flavour to that, but also just to really touch on the oil and gas sector in particular, and touch on how lubricants, which are sometimes, in my view, ignored and not really seen as a key priority, how lubricants can really help you to improve your safety, environmental care and your productivity. So that's really what it's about today. And I'm going to go and try and be quite quick. The Aberdeen traffic hasn't given us a lot of time, so I'm going to go quite quickly. I speak quite quickly. That's a pretty common Scottish trait. So if I'm talking too quickly as well, please let me slow me down. What's key, I think, is to understand what we believe as ExxonMobil, what we believe the key drivers in your industry are. And I've got a slide here that really talks about that. I'm not going to talk about every point in detail, but what's key, I think, is that the drives in your industry are really productivity, energy intensity, safety, which is number one job, and also environmental care. So these are the things that I think you're working 24/7. I hope you're working 24/7 to achieve within your jobs. And this is what we're trying to focus on as people who are developing leading edge technology to help you achieve these jobs. So as I say, I won't go through all of these bit by bit, but it's things like equipment reliability and availability, energy consumption and energy management and waste, energy waste, and then obviously the health and safety sides of things, which is nobody gets hurt, reducing human intervention into equipment, disposal of lubricants, etc., etc. So that's quite a big ask, if you like. That's quite a big, how can lubricants actually affect that? And as I say, 10 years ago, I think lubricants would not have been able to touch a lot of those key elements. But with the development of lubricants within Mobil and the focus that we've really brought to the industry, I think we're able to address a lot of those issues and work with our customers to address those issues. So let's think about lubricants a little bit. How can lubricants support those drivers that I've just spoken about? Okay, productivity. That's key. That's what we're all in business. We're all actually in business to make money, and we try and improve our productivity to make our businesses more competitive in the world today. So what we need is enhanced reliability and availability, reduce maintenance cost, and increase the return on capital. Lubricants, and I hope after this morning you appreciate that lubricants, and we'll show you examples where lubricants have helped to increase productivity. Energy consumption. Again, a few years ago, lubricant technology wasn't addressing this issue. And now within Mobil, we have, over the last few years, we've introduced products that have proven energy efficiency benefits. So energy consumption, lower friction, obviously. The lubricant is integral to the friction within the equipment, within the machine, and reduced, giving you reduced costs, giving you reduced CO2, reduced energy waste, etc. So energy consumption is another key area where lubricants can play a vital part. Safety, extended oil drains, but also things like reduced human intervention into equipment. If you've got a lubricant that requires changing less, you have less people doing that job, you have less stoppage of your equipment, you might have less working at heights, you have a lot of inherent safety benefits. And that's what the advanced Mobil SHC technology can bring. And then, as we've touched on, environmental care, reduced CO2, reduced oil waste, etc., etc. Okay, so we've had the drivers of your industry. This is how we see Mobil lubricants impacting those drivers. And we come to Mobil SHC, which is our top line range of Mobil industrial products, what we call problem-solving products, and really they are the key high technology products. So this slide here really talks about some of the key physical and chemical properties of Mobil SHC, which brings these properties to you and helps with those to address those drivers of the industry. So longer oil life, for example. There you see this graph here shows a typical mineral oil, which is the conventional type of lubricant that you're probably using in a lot of your equipment. And it addresses the viscosity increase of a mineral oil versus Mobil SHC under oil life. So what you see there is mineral oils actually exponentially degrade over time, whereas the Mobil SHC on the bottom there, the oil lasts typically between 3 and 6 times longer than a typical mineral oil. So these are some of the benefits: higher productivity, improve safety, etc., etc. The next one, this is quite important, particularly in the environment. It's a beautiful day outside, but as we know, it's not always nice in Aberdeen. You get some pretty severe temperature ranges. And again, the mobile SHC products have the ability to work in extreme temperatures, both low temperatures and high temperatures. What you want of an oil is you want at low temperatures the oil still to remain fluid, so at startup or during operation it can reach the parts of the machine that need to be lubricated. But at high temperatures, oils tend to drop in viscosity. All oils reduce viscosity as they get warmer. So you need an oil at high temperatures to maintain its viscosity and maintain the oil film thickness. So what we have, there's a parameter called viscosity index, and you find that the mobile SHC, the synthetic products, have a very high viscosity index, which gives you this protection at both ends of the spectrum. So you get cold temperature startup and protection, but you also, for example, don't get so many high temperature trips in your equipment, which can happen and give you a lot of downtime. Wear protection, fundamental. Obviously, you're not going to get reliability. You're not going to help your productivity if you've got a lot of wear and happening. So none of these properties that I talk about compromise the extremely good performance of mobile SHC in wear protection versus other products like conventional oils and cylinder oils. And I like this final one. This is, again, very new and it's a great indication of how technologies develop. This is talking about energy efficiency. This is an infrared picture of a gearbox, one with mineral oil, one with mobile SHC. And you can see the equipment is actually running hotter. I think it says here 13 degrees Fahrenheit with the conventional product. So that has an energy efficiency benefit, it has an oil aging benefit, and it gives you up to, with some products 3%, some products 6% benefits in terms of energy efficiency. So again, I don't think a few years ago we could have touched on, anybody would have been able to talk about that. That is a really new development within mobile SHC. Okay. So the question is, that's the theory, that's the products. How are we applying that in the oil and gas industry? Where are those products being used? And what are some of the key elements? Obviously, a lot of the equipment that you have is turbines, reciprocating engines, diesel generators, gas engines, etc. And we have a key range of products for the applications of power generation, etc., that can really help you in those areas. So, as I say, turbines, gas turbines, Pegasus products for gas engines, Delvac products for diesel generation. And I'll show you later, we have one or two examples from the industry where we've really shown the benefits in terms of, there's one in terms of millions of dollars in terms of the benefits in diesel generators. So, if you were thinking about where to apply this type of technology, your turbines, generators, gas engines is a key area. Compressors, refrigeration, air systems, we have a range of advanced products for those types of applications. And again, you'll see some benefits. And then all of your equipment has gears and bearings. We have a range of products, mobile SHC 600, mobile SHC gear, some greases, etc., that can really help with your mechanical systems, your drawworks, cranes, mud systems, etc., depending on the application, depending on what part of the world we're in. So there's some of the areas that we see in the oil and gas, people using mobile SHC technology for their benefit. And in case we didn't appreciate it, equipment failures and downtime can be extremely costly. Okay, thinking about turbines just for a moment, because I think my experience in the North Sea is we get a lot of questions about, cleanliness of turbine systems, what products, etc., etc. A lot of our sales are related to our turbine oils. So again, What are you looking for from your turbine oil? Long oil life, deposit control, wear protection, etc. And that's the range of products that we have are products like Mobil SHC 800. We have some mineral products, DTE 700, DTE 800. We've actually recently introduced a new product called DTE 932, which is a product specifically designed to address varnishing within gas turbines, which is becoming more of a question mark in the industry at the moment. So turbine oils are one of the key areas to consider. And I said earlier that we were going to, we have some examples from industry, examples from our customers of where they've used these products. This one, we've actually got a video to follow my short presentation, so I'm not going to talk too much about that one. This one here is the Mobil SHC 824 was an interesting case. That was in the oil and gas industry. That was actually a refinery in Italy that was having a lot of trips and downtime because of deposits in the servo valves of the system. And they moved to Mobil SHC 824, which is a synthetic turbine oil. And they, since that and since working with our engineers to effect a good transition to the new product, they haven't experienced any trips or any downtime, which they used to. So the deposit issue within their system has been solved. And that's a saving of somewhere in the region of 230,000 euros, I think. So quite a significant saving in terms of what they were experiencing in downtime. So that's a good example. This one here is very interesting. You can actually see this as well if you look on YouTube, and either you sort of Google Mobil SHC, you'll see this you'll see a video about this in YouTube. This is using one of our newly developed products, Mobil SHC Pegasus, which is a gas engine oil used in a gas engine in the US, where they achieve 5 times longer oil drain performance versus the oil that they were using before. So that was in a gas compression setup in the US. Mobil SHC Pegasus is actually being developed, and one of the key attributes of Mobil SHC Pegasus is it brings energy efficiency to gas engines anywhere up to 1.5%. Now, if you talk to an engine manufacturer, and we have one here, to get an energy efficiency of 1.5% in any piece of equipment is actually a very big gain. And as I say, Mobil SHC Pegasus has now been developed and has demonstrated that level of improvement in efficiency. So a really key area. This final one was generators in Egypt, a company that operates 130 diesel generators. They work very closely with our field engineering team. They extended the drain intervals, tripled the drain intervals. They reduced their oil filter consumption. They got other spare part maintenance benefits. And with 130 generators, made a saving of close to $2.5 million. Simply through taking a progressive lubricant and maintenance agenda. Okay. So I'm going through this quite quickly. I don't have a lot of time. I hope today I've given you a flavour that lubricants can extend equipment life, can extend oil drain intervals, and also, which as I say is a very new development, reduce your energy consumption, which is key to aiding your productivity. And obviously in the offshore and onshore oil and gas industry, I think it addresses many of the drives that you have within your industry. So I think if I click this now, we go into a short video.
Hello, I'm Travis Lale, a proud member of the team behind Mobile Industrial Lubricants. Every day we hear success stories about customers who rely on our flagship Mobile SHC synthetic lubricants. That's because they're formulated with advanced technology to help meet or exceed our customers' most demanding needs. Today I'm here in Tinton Falls, New Jersey, and I have the pleasure of sharing with you another of our Mobile SHC success stories. Here at Monmouth Energy, they take methane gas and turn it into a reliable source of electricity for local businesses, schools, hospitals, airports, and the like. Monmouth Energy has exceeded 90,000 hours using Mobile SHC 824 in their Solar gas turbine. Now clearly that's something that we're proud of, so let's go inside and take a look at their operations.
The power that we produce here is actually sent onto the power grid and is distributed throughout anywhere within the Northeast to supply approximately 12,000 to 15,000 homes. What we do here is we extract landfill gas and direct it through a series of pipes into a processing plant. We do some purification to the gas and send it into a gas turbine that is coupled up to a generator to generate electricity. We keep up with all the preventative maintenance that the manufacturer suggests with filter change outs and such. We're coming up on a big milestone here. One of our turbines is coming up on 90,000 operating hours, still with the same original charge of oil that was put in when the units were first installed approximately 13 years ago. But the biggest factor, I believe, is using a very high quality lubricant such as the Mobile SHC 824. Yeah, based on the latest results we've gotten, the oil has shown no significant breakdowns at all, and we look forward to using this oil for some time to come.
For more information on how you can increase your productivity, visit mobileindustrial.com.
I hope you thought that was better than me actually trying to describe that. I think it's a very good short little video just to show you some of the benefits. I mean, just as an aside, you know, methane gas coming out of a landfill site is actually a pretty severe application. That's, you know, the gas will be quite aggressive, even although they do some cleanup. So, you know, to get 13 years out the charge of oil and it's still going is, I think, pretty impressive. And so I'd just like to thank you. I hope in this short presentation I've managed to make you think about lubrication and maybe where it can help you in your day-to-day jobs and improve the competitiveness of your business. And we're obviously around to help you with that cause, you know. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. We're going to have some questions with you in a moment. I've been scribbling some down and I've seen some people in the audience twitching away because I think they want to ask questions. But beforehand, let's move over to Caterpillar and Caterpillar's Marine and Petroleum Division and our guest today, Mr. Will Watson.
All right, good morning. I'm grateful to be here to speak with you this morning. I've worked at Caterpillar for over 15 years in the marine and oil and gas business and various engineering and marketing sales roles. My current position here is technical sales support for the offshore business along with our product development for products that are featured towards offshore applications. So again, I'm here to talk today to you about offshore products that meet emission standards and safety regulations that are out there. So products to meet your needs of the future. So First, we'll touch on some products and technology that we're developing to meet lower emissions. Also then we'll blend into not only meeting lower emissions, but utilizing natural gas. And then finally we'll wrap up with discussing products to address some safety concerns. So products that will then be classified towards ATEX or some NEC classifications. So before we start, I just want to touch base on the complete Caterpillar offshore product line of reciprocating engines. So we have products anywhere from 20 kilowatts up to 15 megawatts and growing on the reciprocating engine line. So towards the left-hand side of the screen here, these engines mainly run on distillate fuels. As you move up and towards the right, over towards the right, these engines can burn not only distillate fuels, but heavy fuels and natural gas. Caterpillar is constantly investing in research and development to improve power density, efficiencies for these products. And then as we're going to discuss today, a lot of that research and development is going into reducing emissions, utilizing natural gas, and providing safety features. So the first technology I want to discuss with you is called selective catalytic reduction, commonly known as SCR. This technology has been around for decades. It was actually patented back in 1957. It's gone through many changes over time. It's commonly used in road applications, on-road applications for lorries and trucks and on-highway vehicles. It has now been used offshore and other on-land applications. So we're going to discuss this technology, walk you through kind of the basic concept of this technology here in the next few slides. So how does SCR work? Okay, so SCR works, it's the process of which oxides of nitrogen, which is commonly known as NOx or NOx, which is contained in the diesel exhaust, are reduced to nitrogen and water. Okay, so it goes through a process where a diesel exhaust fluid, or known as DEF, which is nowadays a urea-based substance, is injected into the exhaust stream, and this can be injected utilizing an air assist technology or an airless injection into the exhaust stream. When it injects into and mixes with the exhaust gas, it then it flows through a catalyst. This chemical reaction then eliminates the NOx and turns the exhaust stream into nitrogen and water. So the advantages of a catalytic reduction system are that it's very highly efficient. I mean, you can reduce NOx levels by over 95%. And it can be turned on and off. So this is particularly an advantage in the offshore and marine mobile applications. So as you transient in and out of emission control areas, you can turn this technology on and off. The engine also can be optimized for optimal fuel economy. So the engine itself can produce a high level of NOx. By doing that your engine actually runs more efficiently, and then use the selective catalytic reduction system to then bring that NOx level down to meet a very, very stringent emissions requirements. And again, this is a proven emission solution. It's been around for over 50 years, and it's been constantly refined. But again, it's rather new to the offshore business. So this is something that, again, it's new. People are a little bit unfamiliar with it. They're a little bit nervous with everything that's new in the industry. So the other thing is this is all off engine. Okay, so this is after treatment. So the engine itself stays practically the same. Okay, we utilize the same engine that's been proven for durability and reliability. So not a whole lot changes to the engine itself. We just add on after treatment afterwards. All right, and there's no additional equipment that's required to meet some of the Tier 4 levels that are in the U.S. and some of the IMO levels and Euro levels that are in other parts of the world. So this selective catalytic reduction can be used, especially for offshore, without the need of a diesel oxidation catalyst or diesel particulate filter and some of these other type of after treatment systems that require a high level of maintenance and complex controls afterwards to function properly. So here's a general schematic of how the SCR system would be outlined on a offshore vessel or a rig. You'd have a urea tank, so you're going to have to, so this is new, you'd have to have some type of holding tank for urea systems, and you'd transfer that urea system, generally using a transfer pump, over to what we'll call a dosing cabinet. Now this dosing cabinet is actually houses the controls that will meter the amount of urea that goes into the exhaust stream depending upon the electronic feedback that it's getting from the engine to know, what loads the engine is running at. So how much do I have to meter that urea into the system? It will also receive information back from the exhaust stream after it goes through your clean emissions module to monitor how the emissions are functioning properly. So it will correct itself to make sure that emissions levels are maintained. And again, sometimes air compressors are needed to supply that air assist. Now this is generally used in much larger engines. So as you get to over a couple megawatts of power, you'll generally have some type of air assisting mechanism. And what that does is it breaks that urea down into a nice fine mist. So the mixture in the exhaust stream, it gets nice and mixed up prior to it entering into the catalyst. So here's an installation on board an offshore drilling rig. So you can see that the module will fit generally right over the diesel power generator, and sometimes it will fit further up in the exhaust stream itself. So we know that current designs for offshore rigs don't necessarily have a whole lot of room for extra equipment on board. Okay, so we're very cognizant of that fact. We've done some development work within the engine to minimize that module. So we know there's two things really that you need to do is minimize the size and minimize the cost of that module, and while at the same time providing ultimate operational cost to our customer, our optimized operational cost to our customers. All right, so again, here's a view of the installation in a rig. All right, so from there I'll move from the technology that not only reduces emissions but utilizes natural gas. All right, and the name of this technology is dual fuel. Okay, so dual fuel is a technology that utilizes a natural gas or liquid. So you have a liquid mode, and these can burn light fuels or heavy fuels, and then a gas mode, which will burn natural gas, so compressed gas, CNG, or LNG type of gas, and it will utilize a pilot, a liquid pilot, commonly marine diesel oil, to be used as a pilot to ignite the natural gas. Now this technology at Caterpillar is generally used in products about 3 megawatts and higher. So the technology I'll describe today really pertains to the higher power engines that Caterpillar produces. So how does dual fuel work? So dual fuel, again, you have a gas mode and a liquid mode, we'll call it. You can run on a gas mode from up to about 90% to 99% of gas. And again, that 1% is used for a pilot fuel. And so then, therefore, when you're running in gas mode, you're generally between 1 and 10% of your utilizing liquid fuel. The changeover, again, can go from a liquid mode to a gas mode, and that's generally possible when you're operating your engine about 20 to 80% load. So when you're operating at that load, you can then put yourself from liquid mode into a gas mode. And that'll take approximately a minute to have that to change over, and it does vary sometimes on the natural gas that is flowing into the engine. But in general, it takes approximately 1 minute. Now, when you're in gas mode and you want to go back to a liquid mode, okay, this can be done manually. So you can walk right up at your operating station and press a button and switch back to gas mode. Or it can be done automatically. So the engine itself senses that there's some issues with the natural gas supply to your engine, and it will switch it back automatically to a liquid mode. And this can be done, this is done in about a second. So this switch over from gas to liquid mode goes back to in about a second. And you maintain that power. So you never really see any blips or anything in your power output of your engine. Now, what are the advantages of dual fuel? Well, the first advantage is it provides you an operational flexibility. So in general, you can burn a light fuel, a heavy fuel, or natural gas. So depending upon your location of operation, and depending upon the costs of the fuels at your location, you can utilize these different types of fuels. The second thing is that this technology, when in gas mode, it drastically reduces your exhaust emissions. So when you're in gas mode, right, the engine will operate and achieve a level of emissions that currently meets the IMO 3 levels that are out there today. So we'll do this without the use of any types of aftertreatment or any other types of exhaust reduction equipment. This also, when operating in gas mode, your CO2 dramatically reduces as well too. So this definitely supports the CO2 reduction initiatives that are out there in the industry. And there's limited impact on the engine and exhaust system dimensions. So the engine itself, dimensionally, looks the same. There's a few features of some gas systems that are installed on the engine, but in virtually the same space that you have a normal liquid engine today, you can replace that with a dual fuel engine and not take up any more space in your installations. The engines are also set up to where if you have an existing liquid fueled engines, there's parts and kits that can be made available to just upgrade that engine into a dual fuel engine as well too. So the dual fuel system optimizes fuel consumption. Again, it's set for both a liquid mode and a natural gas or a gas mode as well. So again, one of the two key features, takeaways, are the operational flexibility to provide you that lower cost operation and reducing exhaust emissions. So you can see on this slide here, so here we've laid out the NOx standards according to the IMO regulations. So IMO 2 levels and IMO 3 levels. So you can see there's a dramatic reduction that's required in these regulations. And so the engines are set up to where as you're running in liquid mode, you certainly achieve your IMO 2 levels. And as you're running in a gas mode, you'll exceed the limits, or you'll exceed them in a good way. You'll be below the limits of the IMO 3 regulations. So again, the feature is when in gas mode, meeting the emissions without the use of aftertreatment. So safety is sometimes a concern when you're utilizing natural gas. And the engines have been developed according to the national regulations for gas-fueled ships. This is commonly known as the IGF code. And so that code is set up to provide safe operation of machinery when utilizing gas as a fuel. All right, and we've built in some safety features. So in case of a malfunction, again, of that natural gas system, the engine won't shut down. Instead, the fuel supply will be switched back to the liquid mode. So you've got really two sources of fuel on board that you can utilize to maintain power in your operation. There's leakage monitoring system throughout the gas system, so we detect if there's any types of gas leaks in the system, and we'll certainly alarm the operator that there is such a leak so that proper action can be taken. And then all the components, so as additional safety, of course, all the components are double walled. So that leak detection is usually in between those two walls of your piping system. So again, it remains contained within the engine. So as we move from safety features of the dual fuel engine, we'll transition to products we have that address safety concerns. So Caterpillar has a line of standard hazardous location products, anywhere from 20 kilowatts up to about 825 kilowatts of power. So these hazardous location products are complete power units from a radiator through a flywheel, and that can be used then again to drive whether it's pumps or generators, and we'll show you a few examples of what we've utilized these products for. And they'll meet various hazardous location requirements. That could be ATEX or NEC, Class 1, Division 2. And we'll utilize products from the, again, our C2.2, so a 2-liter engine, all the way up to a 32-liter engine in this range of products. And again, we also offer some gas engines that will be certified for Class 1 Division 2 wiring initiatives. So these standard hazardous location solutions, looking here at the smaller end of the product line, the 2 to 4 liter units. So this is anywhere from 20 kilowatts to 115 kilowatts of power. So this is a complete package that's built and tested at the factory. And for this product line here, we have ATEX only, not NEC Class 1 Division 2. And we also offer, there's varying emissions levels of products that are available in this range as well too. As we move up and look at products from probably about 150 kilowatts to 825 kilowatts, we'll utilize a 7 through a 32 liter engine. And again, these are complete units that are built at Caterpillar. And these products can utilize, be certified for ATEX and for Class 1 Division 2 applications. All right, so let me move in here before we end here to a couple examples how these can be utilized offshore. So the first example we have here is a temporary generator set for a Zone 2 area on board an offshore installation. So this is a generator set that's providing electrical power that meets the standards of ATEX or the IEC codes out there, the mechanical systems, and really what this does is it provides you the flexibility that as you need temporary power and you're looking for a place on your installation to put it, you can put this unit in a safe or a non-safe zone, because these are built for non-safe zones. So it kind of gives you that flexibility to place this power at various locations on your installation. The next example would be utilizing this for crane power. So sometimes a crane is in maybe right on the boundary of between a safe and non-safe zone. So you can utilize this power pack to make sure that you're fully safe. You can see there the few standards that these types of installations utilize, and there may be some local regulations that we'll meet, and sometimes local regulations are at a lower level than maybe what this product can need. So sometimes it's a cost and safety trade-off that operators do have to go through in a process to say that they want to have this type of installation on board. And then finally, the last example we have is then these would be more permanent generator sets for offshore installations. So these are units that usually they're much larger. They'll go up to 1 or 2 megawatts of power or more. And they'll be at a permanent location on an offshore installation that is in a non-safe area. So therefore, we can provide those complete packages. And these are open or enclosed. Typically on the larger end, these are enclosed. So they'll utilize pressurized containers and so forth, but they'll be capable of operating in a non-safe area to meet, again, the ATEX or the Class 1 Division 2 regulations. So I want to thank you again for the opportunity to speak with you here today, to discuss here quickly just some things that Caterpillar are working on to address, again, the emissions regulations that are out there, the need to burn or the want to burn natural gas and utilize that as a fuel for your engines, and also the technology and the products that we're using to address the growing need of safety concerns and to have nice, efficient operations. Thank you.
The Lubricant Company, one of the largest distributors of ExxonMobil lubricants in Europe and the strategic distributor of the Mobil brand for Scotland, the north of England, the Midlands and North Wales. Our purpose is to deliver real value to our customers through the supply of added value lubricants, lubrication services and lubrication solutions. With our UK headquarters in Scotland, the Lubricant Company are at the heart of the oil and gas industry in Aberdeen, the oil capital of Europe and the very centre of expertise and innovation, so vital to optimising productivity. With over 50 years' experience and employing a team of around 50 professionals, each year the Lubricant Company purchase, store and deliver some 10 million litres of ExxonMobil lubricants. With a network of storage, distribution and technical sales centres throughout the whole of the UK, from the Shetland Islands down to Glasgow, the North East, the Midlands and across to the port of Heysham in the North West, and with our facility in Altons, Aberdeen, home to the Lubricant Company's largest lubricants distribution centre in Scotland, we are strategically placed to ensure you have the right product in the right place at the right time. Storing millions of litres and covering hundreds of product lines. The Lubricant Company operate their own modern transport fleet for distribution, understanding from our customers that quick and on-time delivery is essential to the smooth operation and success of their business. But this is only part of the story. Our aim is to add value to our customers. So, we combine ExxonMobil's world-class lubricants with the Lubricant Company's world-class service. With a dedicated team of friendly customer service consultants, the Lubricant Company provide a one-stop shop for all your lubricants, lubricant services and total lubrication management solutions. We are here for you. It's why we are in business. Working in partnership with you, the customer, our team of specialists are here to provide solutions and ensure that, whether onshore or offshore, we add value to your business. The Lubricant Company recognise the full benefits and opportunities that our customers can achieve through the superior performance of ExxonMobil synthetic lubricants. Our field engineering and technical teams understand the impact of uncontrolled downtime and how selecting and delivering the correct lubricant can have a measurable effect and provide greater productivity, greater efficiency and greater profitability. The Lubricant Company has ISO 9001 quality accreditation and ISO 14001 environmental accreditation, CHAS accreditation and our FPAL register. We are also proud to be recognised as an Investors in People organisation. By listening to you, the customer, and fully understanding your challenges, needs and safety issues, the Lubricant Company enable you to concentrate on your core business, safe in the knowledge that you're getting the best from your equipment, your employees, and of course, us. It's all part of the service from the Lubricant Company. Why not take a closer look at what we do? World-class lubricants and a world-class service. TLC, the Lubricant Company. TLC, the local company.
Right, thanks very much for that, Will. I'll come to some questions for you in a moment.
Sure.
But first of all, Peter, I've been noting down some things. You mentioned how lubricants have changed through the years, that you might think they're the same, but actually there have been big advances. How do ExxonMobil actually develop these lubricants?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a very involved process. I think the key thing is to get the feedback from the marketplace in terms of from equipment builders, from customers, from the sales team, in terms of what are the drives, what are the requirements of the industry. And then we go through a process with our technical people they work on product development, testing, field testing, and it's quite a long and involved process. But then we have new products. We come through with new products which meet the requirements of the industry. So that's the process we really go through. So all the way from market through to product development to field testing and then to product launch.
And obviously events like this where you can meet an awful lot of customers are very important to get that feedback. While I've been talking to people, there's been a lot of talk of used oil analysis. Explain to me, the point of doing that.
Well, I think, used oil analysis is really preventative maintenance, is a fundamental of preventative maintenance. It's the analogy I use is really like when you go to the doctor for your checkup. He takes a sample of your blood and he can get a good feel for how healthy you are. And used oil analysis is fundamental to a program of preventative maintenance. So we work a lot with our customers to help them with oil analysis. We have a program called Signum where we do oil analysis, and we can also use that as a reference. We have a reference database within Signum, so we can look at your equipment and we can reference that with similar equipment across the world. And that's the great power of used oil analysis. If you've got a number of similar equipment in your operation, you can actually compare one with the other, and you can see outlying equipment, so you get a real clue where you have potentially got a problem with one piece of equipment, and that is really, really powerful. This trending of oil analysis is really important. Oil analysis is not about just one sample, taking one sample. It's about looking at the trend of wear metals, of oil condition over a period of time. So really fundamental.
Thank you. Now, Will, you were talking now about SCR and you were talking about dual fuels. Are they the only things you're using to reduce exhaust emissions?
No, actually, Caterpillar is utilizing various technologies, both internal to the engine and external to the engine. So we've been developing kind of a toolbox of technologies to which we can utilize best with the application. So whether the application and the emission standard that has to be met. So on land, certain applications and regulations will utilize some other types of technology. So we might have some internal reductions, NOx reduction systems, or we might utilize some other types of technology. But particularly for offshore and the standards and looking at the operational costs, we've targeted SCR as our technology for that type of application, but certainly there's others that we're working on for other types of applications.
Now, I seem to remember a while ago reading in Offshore Engineer something about needing enough exhaust heat for SCR to function properly. Is that correct?
So that's generally been a concern as SCR had been introduced into the offshore environment over the last decade or so because of the way that the engines operate in the applications. They generally don't run at a high enough load to generate a lot of heat, so that has certainly been a concern. And what Caterpillar has done over the last few years is improve the performance of the engine, not only to generate a little bit more heat at those particular loads, but also there's a lot of technology and development that's gone into the metallic makeup of those catalysts. So we can utilize catalyst elements that can do this reaction at a much lower temperature than before. So again, looking at the way our customers use our engines in the industry, and then applying the right technology to make that function.
Excellent. Right, well, look, we've had enough of me. Let me open this up to the audience for questions. Who'd like to ask a question first? Lady in front.
Good morning. My question is for Will. What consumption of urea should operators be planning for?
Sure. As we mentioned, again, the need for now a holding tank of urea consumption is certainly something that is not designed into current installations. So what we've been communicating to designers and operators is to plan for about 5 to 7% of what your fuel burn is, so what your fuel tanks are. So if you're burning 200 liters of fuel an hour, then certainly plan on burning about 10 liters of urea an hour. So use a kind of a 5 to 7% of your fuel burn as your rule of thumb for sizing your tanks on board.
Gentleman at the back in the stripy shirt, please. A stripy tie.
This is for Peter. If a maintenance engineer decided to increase focus on lubricants to increase some of the benefits that you describe, how would they go about taking the next steps to achieve that?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. I think and quite a long answer, it could be quite a long answer, but I think the key thing, the first message is you're really not on your own. You know, the people from Mobil, the people from Mobil's distributors are here to help you. I think one of the first steps would be to work with the Mobil engineer to identify any suffering points that you have with your current equipment and focus on them to get more reliable operation. To look at critical equipment and focus on the critical equipment and the lubricant use and recommendations for the critical equipment. As I described earlier, introduce a used oil analysis program, and with those types of tools you'll easily move forward in terms of reliability, and obviously measure how the progress in terms of your spare part consumption, in terms of your oil consumption, in terms of, if you can, in terms of your energy output, etc. So it's a collaborative way of working with Mobil, and focus on some of the key critical equipment first. Does that help you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
One more question. The lady in the green jacket, please.
This is a question for Peter. For operations in extreme temperatures requiring maintenance-related downtime or cooling, what sort of lubricant solutions would you recommend?
Well, I touched on it briefly in the presentation. One of the benefits of the Mobil SHC products is they have very low temperature performance. They have pour points which are very low, which allow them to be operated in low temperatures. So at startup, the Mobil SHC product is still fluid, so it can be pumped around the equipment and reach the critical parts easily. Whereas mineral products sometimes at low temperatures, or can at low temperatures, wax up quite easily and increase viscosity. So that's one of the key inherent benefits of Mobil SHC. Its ability to still work at very low temperatures, but also at high temperatures as well, which you may get in the oil and gas industry in other parts of the world, for example, the Middle East.
Right, I've just got a couple more questions before we run out of time, for both of you actually. This isn't a new industry we're in anymore, and we've actually got some ageing equipment. Is that causing problems, and how are we to deal as an industry with that?
All right, I'll take that question first. Certainly we do have aging equipment out there, and we provide guidelines of how to operate and maintain our engines. And we have methods out there to maximize the life and longevity of our engines. So if you're following the guidelines and maintenance procedures, we've been able to extend the life of engines in this industry for a great period of time. And certainly, you do get to a point where you look at replacing the unit, and those are certainly things that our service personnel around the world can work with the customer to kind of try to figure out how to maximize the operational costs, and whether to, how much more life, I guess, you can get out of the product.
Peter, you were nodding there?
Yeah. Again, some of the things we've discussed with advanced technology lubricants are applicable to older equipment as well. Preventative maintenance is probably even more critical to try and get a an idea of the condition of the equipment through oil analysis, etc. So still the same principles apply really to try and get ahead of any problems that could arise with older equipment.
Okay, I'm going to put one final question, put you on the spot now. Crystal ball time. What happens next?
I think for me, what happens next is that I think we've developed a lot of new technology within mobile lubricants, and I think what happens next in the next 2 to 3 years is really a lot of that technology has to be taken on board by the oil and gas industry and really applied, and some of the benefits like energy efficiency I think haven't really got through to the industry yet. So I think then what next is really the application of some of this technology.
Yeah. We've, for the last 10 years, have spent a very high percentage of our research and development money focusing on reducing the emissions levels of our product. So as we've been working on those technologies to reduce the emissions levels, we don't foresee a lot of future regulations, although we know that more will come. What we want to do is then to maximize the efficiency now of our product, to gain back some of the efficiencies that maybe would have been lost because of the reducing the emissions levels. So again, working on that, like Peter said, working on gaining some of that efficiency to provide a lower cost operating product.
Right, thank you very much. Time has run away with us. Sorry, we haven't got time for any more questions. That's it from this Offshore Engineer Customer Seminar. We thank ExxonMobil and Caterpillar, and thank you for watching, and see you again soon.